Welcome to Fair City Fire's Say It Loud podcast. We welcomed Skunk Manhattan from A Good Rogering to this episode. It's really one of the first times we've been able to talk metal on the show, so I was super pumped for that, growing up a metal kid. We talked about A Good Rogering's new EP called This Is Death Metal, which is probably the best name for a death metal record, right? And we got into all the stuff that metal geeks like to talk about, like what makes a band metal, who is metal, who's not, who determines it, doesn't even matter. And we brought back our favorite game, lead singer or porn star. That one comes at the end of the podcast, so stick around. Our friend Tracy, the drummer in That Girl Dre, also joined the podcast. A real metal time. Go to agoodrogering.com, stream This Is Death Metal on Spotify, check out Fair City Fire, September 12th at Stubbs. They're going to be playing after Grizzly Bear inside. And most importantly, please enjoy the show. Enjoy the show. I'm really glad we're bringing like some metal onto the podcast. So this is what our 47th episode?
Yeah.
I think it would be... Is it the 7th?
Yeah. So we're finally bringing on some metal. Yeah. We should have
saved you, man, for 666.
I think we can just
we'll
say
get you on here in
5
years.
So I start planning now.
Yeah. But Skunk Manhattan is here from A Good Rogering.
Woo!
Yes. Welcome. Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Is probably a family name? Are you a junior or like a second? Skunk Manhattan the second? The third?
It's a long lineage of us
Manhattans
and just, various rodents and whatnot.
Irish?
What do you call...
very Irish.
Yeah.
What do you call a lot of skunks? Is it like a pride?
A pride of skunks? Yeah.
There's one for you. I'm wondering
it's a gaggle of skunks.
I'm wondering if I guessed right. What is skunk in Spanish?
Ooh, I don't know. I'm going to look up on the phone.
For some reason, I think it's oso.
Yep, look it up. I looked at Joe for some reason.
I think that's a bear.
Oso's bear.
Oso's bear.
Oso's
right.
bear,
yeah. All right, well, I was wrong.
I'm thinking, I have no idea.
A group of skunks is called a clan.
Ooh, a clan of skunks?
No, that's wrong.
Oh.
No, it's a whole... Wait, no.
I was going to say that would be perfect.
A group of gerbils is called a clan.
Oh. Because I produced a band called Gunzenhausen Clan.
Ooh.
From Germany. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they're very weird.
So we should just do fake news.
If you like Typo Negative, though,
yeah.
We were talking about Typo Negative.
Yeah,
If you like Typo Negative, you should check out Gunzenhausen Clan for sure.
I will check that out. Yeah, so you guys, I mentioned metal, in the truest sense, like it's definitely some old school sound, but to me, like so the vocals, I was hearing different things. I was hearing kind of this Rob Zombie thing, maybe a little bit of Dave Mustaine kind of a thing, maybe a little Scott Weiland, like kind of like different things. And then on the music side, I was hearing like it was like very like Pantera, as I said, Typo Negative,
right,
like Machine Head type. You seem to exist in this wide horizon of what metal music is. Is that intentional? Or is
I think it's just a mesh of I guess some of the primary influences that I've had for years and years, and I kind of started playing and like started getting into music in a time where it was sort of the 90s, early 90s, that whole big thing happened with grunge and bands like Alice in Chains and Soundgarden, and like those are still some of my favorite bands. Faith No More is one of my all-time favorite bands. And then you had the thrash guys, Metallica, Slayer, Megadeth. So yeah, there's a ton of Megadeth influence. A ton of Typo Negative's always been a big one, of course, Pantera. So, and that's all like kind of the metal rock family. And there's a lot of other influences too, but it's a hard rock metal band. We call it eclectic heavy rock, I think is the stamp we
It
put
is.
on.
There's definitely choruses or solos that are like, oh, that's Kerry King, or that's that's Slayer, and then Typo Negative, there's this, or there's some like Merciful Fate riff type things where it's like just chunky and like melodic.
Actually, what I love too is when someone will say, and like I've gotten the Rob Zombie thing a few times, I've gotten Dave Mustaine, I can see the Hetfield, like those those are all vocal influences, and they fit with the style, and they're somewhat manageable vocal stylings for me. I wish I could sing like Freddie Mercury, but that's never going to happen. Yeah. So, it's funny when we first started too, because I kind of had like a band when I first moved here, and we were doing covers and some originals, and it was It was like, and when A Good Rogering started, it was maybe even more extreme, and it's really kind of found itself over the years. I think like that sound is kind of, I feel like more and more it finds itself, and it still stays open, but it kind of, you know what I mean? It's finding a brand on every level, I suppose. But and it used to be like even more scatterbrain, which is cool. But I had like when I first moved here, like my cover band was just like, we would go from fucking Willie Nelson to Slayer, and I mean, it was just like,
Hell yeah.
which was actually cool because we would have people dancing 1 minute and booing the next, or or walking out of the room 1 minute and moshing the next. It was just chaos and confusion, but it was awesome.
At least you were getting a response.
And the people that
and
stayed.
Yeah.
Hey, one of the coolest things that ever happened we were like the dive bar kings, and like we were playing this little dive, and we were doing a sound check, and I think I was actually on drums, and someone was doing something, and we're just making a racket, and it was like kind of a old, just dingy, smoky bar, a lot of blues bands and stuff, and we played a lot of like bluesy stuff too. Like I come from a lot of like blues, and so I play all that. I really actually think I'm equal blues type guitarist as metal, really. I kind of an equal, and then some of the fusion stuff, and I hybrid pick. So I think there's a lot of like variance in style just from the different styles of music I've listened to that hopefully come in. So it's not, I wouldn't call it just metal, but anyway, like we were sound checking or whatever, and this old man like walks by on like with a walker, like he's walking towards the door. And we're just like, oh, Christ. I'm already like running people. I mean, not that, that's going to be our audience, but I'm like, oh, fuck, people are already leaving. We haven't even started playing. Anyway, like, then he like stops like right in front of the middle of the stage and like lifts his arms and just starts fucking rocking out. And I'm
Hell
like,
yeah.
hell yeah, dude.
Dude.
We're just like, dude, fuck yeah.
You know what? I just saw a story today about these two, like they were senior citizens and they escaped their room.
That's like viral. Yeah, I've seen that.
In Germany, they escaped their room in the senior living center to go sneak into a festival. And
like
go,
90-year-old women.
Yeah,
it was like women, right?
Yeah,
it was
okay,
crazy.
cool. Yeah, I wasn't
No,
sure.
I
I just
I
saw
think I
the
saw
like.
an update on that or something.
It was
like
two
they talked-
dudes.
It
was two older dudes, and it was at the metal festival.
Yeah,
It's fucking awesome.
That's what it was.
It was
It's
at the metal festival. It's been going on for like 26 years.
Yeah.
So that doesn't
And-
surprise me.
No.
Yeah, and
It just gives so much hope.
They were there.
When you feel like, is rock dead? God, people don't go to live. You're like, these old fucking geezers can go. I'm sick of this. I don't have gas. It's a 2.5. Fuck you, man. These guys snuck out of a nursing home to go fucking rock out. Like,
Go see some metal, dude.
because of those guys, like nobody ever has an excuse for not going to a show. Like,
That's so true. Yeah,
I'm gonna
so
cite them
true.
for the rest of my life. Guilt people into coming.
Just send links the next day.
Maybe you need dementia.
Yeah.
We'll give it to you. Yeah. You'll have it by the end of the night.
So that is Tracy. We're very professional. So Tracy, actually, our friend from That Girl Dre, is with us today. We've got Brett, we've got Joe, we've got Brian. I'm Matt. We forgot to, we like to wait about till we're 10 minutes into.
The show's over. Oh, by the way, here's who you've been listening to.
Yeah.
It's like we've got Skunk Manhattan, and there's like 17 voices.
Yeah. But yeah, part of a good Rogering, and that I loved. I love that phrase. It's so old school, and I haven't heard that in so long. A good Rogering. That's basically what Thomas Jefferson did to, the ladies at the time.
Oh man.
Right? Isn't that like?
What?
Isn't that like a put
Yeah, it's a sexual
put penis in girls?
Yeah.
It was like that's what they used to say in like the 16 through 1900s. So,
It was specifically used between 1612
good Rogering.
and
Yeah, yeah.
1780.
Wow, you're actually giving me a history on that.
Well,
Please.
a Roger used to be a penis used to be slang Roger. That's what they used to call it. So then, like
A
in the
good
days,
penis.
it'd be like, gave her a good Rogering.
No, yeah, exactly.
I didn't know what it
Yeah.
meant. Now I do.
It's like a
That's
50-50
wonderful.
thing. We used to really lay it out, like our old business cards. You know what? I'm going to dig around and find, I don't know. Maybe I've got them in here. Oh,
He brought a
you know
bag
what
of
else I'm
goodies.
going to find in here? Something I don't use, but the other kids should.
He brought a bag of goodies.
Is it a cover for a Roger?
Yes.
Yeah. Is it a
One of you
Roger?
whoever,
Roger.
hey, one of you guys.
A good covering.
That's good.
One of you guys can use that.
Which is like that is actually a perfect thing
Well,
to
give that to you, buddy.
Like you give that at shows, or you sell them at shows.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
awesome. That's
It's a good Rogering condom.
the sad part of it is I'm using them all myself on myself.
Well, if you were putting them on somebody else.
No judgment here.
Hey, you could do.
Anyway, I was looking for a business card, but yeah, our old business cards were like two bugs fucking, and so like it was kind of like a good Rogering, like this is
Yeah.
a good Roger.
It's a good
But
sex-
it's like a
sex
50-50.
session.
Like some people are like, I love it, haha, and other people are like, who's Roger? You know,
Yeah.
like it's just like.
Oh my gosh.
But
exactly.
yeah, you know, it's funny. Like I have struggled with that name for years of going like, man, you know, because some people are like, I love your band, I can't even wear your shirt. And I get it, you know, like certain places, like I like wore this accidentally at like the school I teach at the other day, and I was like, oh shit, my good,
So that's your a good Rogering hat.
my good
Yeah.
Rogering hat.
You
now
wore it to
half
school?
price on the
Yeah.
website.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you know, I mean, I get that people have to have jobs and can't, but I mean, then there's like a band called Anal Cunt. So really, can we just fucking grow up already? Like a good Rogering? Are we really offending anybody with this in 2018?
People aren't that cultured anymore.
Jesus Christ.
They're
And
just
like,
not.
Yeah, like you said, like half the
They're just
people don't
not.
even know. I think I've worn my stuff and then people just don't even know what it means anyway, you know?
Yeah. No,
So-
I would say most don't. Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't.
Which is
So,
actually really
yeah.
great, you know, which is really cool. Of course, in England, I mean, they're going to know, you know, in certain countries, they're going to
Right.
know.
Yeah.
But, like, I definitely have gotten some good endorsements and some people that have, you know, said they loved the name. So I'm like, cool. I'm glad I just decided to stick with it. And then it's like I said, the music has kind of been finding itself, and the whole thing has kind of found its brand from the chaotic confusion that it started as, you know.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, you seem. I know you've had different versions of the band, but now with the new EP, it seems like you're really honing in and getting serious about like where this is going for you.
Yeah, I definitely think, like I said, I think the sound is really refined and funny enough, like about to be recording I think probably an album. And I was mentioning to you guys before we started a single that may be coming out. That you know, so there's some stuff sitting around right now that may be released as singles, but there's material written for enough for an album. So I think that's going to be like what we're doing with the rest of the year is just working on new material and trying to really put out. I wanted to get something out, you know. We had some stuff to kind of sift through, and it was an interesting mesh of old and new, like the death metal EP. And now it's like a lot of stuff is written and ready to go. And I think for me, in my mind, it's like it's hopefully going to be the most cohesive work that we've done, you know. I like everything that we've done, but a lot of it it's kind of scatterbrained, or you know, each one has their own sound and stamp, which I dig. But I think I have a like really clear vision going in of what this is going to be, and for me, it's like this is like going to personify a good Rogering, you know.
Nice.
Yeah. So the rest
Hell
of the rest of the year, I mean, it's going to be mostly recording, or do you have it already recorded? Is it
No,
right?
no, we're going to be
Okay,
recording.
so it's
yeah,
written.
it's
Okay,
written
so-
pre-production stage,
Okay,
you know.
gotcha.
So yeah.
Are you playing it live? All the new stuff?
We'll probably start
Are you getting
creeping,
around it?
Yeah, we'll probably start creeping some in, but I think we just have like 3 shows booked, and that's it. So, you know, I don't even know. We may do some kind of holiday thing, depending if we get invited or something's going on. We've done the like Merry Metal Christmas with Snakeskin
Really?
Prison, you know those guys?
Hell yeah.
Like, with Matt, and so we've done that with them a few times, and we're playing. I have a Halloween, like a October 27th date at Dirty Dog right now that we're going to work on putting together. And then we have a couple of road shows. But yeah, real low key, really just going to kind of put the focus there. And actually, I've been playing with another band now, too. So it keeps me like out playing, even though it's not with a good
I mean,
band.
is that like just for work, or are you into it?
I mean, no,
what-
it's awesome,
oh,
man.
what
They're
is it?
friends
Yeah.
of mine, and it's like write sick metal. They're called Rune Scarred, and it's just like killer, you know. I don't even know how to describe it. It's just like awesome. Yeah, it's really cool shit.
Runes, it sounds like a nerdy metal name.
Yeah,
Is it
they're
like
total
nerdy
nerds.
metal.
Yeah,
Runes
yeah, you
Guard,
nailed it, man.
Yeah.
Total nerds, but great. Well, they're all in. You know, some of the guys in that band, like the guy playing bass for that band, was in a band called, or is in a band, it's his band, Invisible Czars. Have you guys ever heard of them? Like they've been around for a long time. It's like one of those bands. Like to me, there's certain bands like you hear in the Austin and kind of I guess underground, been around, like, you know, Muchos Backflips. Oh, dude, you got to check these
think I
bands
did. I
out,
think
man.
I have heard
Winston's
that.
in that
Winston,
band.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
and Winston's in a lot of bands. Like,
Yeah, he
he's
is.
in a lot of bands. But Muchos Backflips is one of my favorite bands. When A Good Rogering first came out, like I had like met some guys at a show, and I think maybe Muchos was playing, and we ended up playing a street gig like in front of a tattoo place during the South by, and it was awesome. But we met a lot of those type bands. And like the band Opposite Day, I don't know if you guys have heard of them, but these are there's just kind of like little niche, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
And people who know them are like, oh yeah, those guys, you know, like they're just really fucking good. And Invincible Czars is kind of in that niche. And anyway, so the bass player Josh Robbins that plays with Rune Scarred is from that, which is a very much more eclectic kind of different thing. Like, and so I think me, him and myself with a good Rogering being in this metal band is really cool because this is like metal, and we're like not all metal. So it's kind of a nice mixture, man. It's a really fun thing to be involved with. But so yeah, I've got several road shows coming up with those guys the next few months.
Nice.
And then he's on the road with his band in October, doing like Phantom of the Opera. Like they play for like in front of like silent movies. Yeah. They play at like theaters and like do music. It's crazy. And so when that's happening, we're gonna do a show, and then I think I have a couple of November dates or something. But yeah.
What I'm curious about, I'm glad to have a metal guy in here. You already said it, like, oh, this was metal and this one was not so metal. Like, the metal community is so interesting, but it's so fickle sometimes. It's like it's a niche music market in a way, but it has like the most passionate people. Like, let's say like whatever. This is just for the sake. Like a Britney Spears video gets 1 million views, a metal one will get 10,000, but every 10,000 will have a comment with it. It's like it seems like with metal, maybe because it's so small. Is it because people are so passionate about their sounds, or like the bands they like?
I think it's just,
why does it draw out so much?
I think maybe, I don't know. I mean, I'm not really, honestly, I don't listen to a lot of metal. Like, I just fake it and pretend I know
Really?
like all these bands when people are like, oh, whatever. I can't even think of a funny, death metal title, but, and I'm just like, yeah, sure. But, I mean, I like it. It's cool, but it's just like, I'm really kind of scatterbrained musically. Like, I listen to a lot of like XM jazz and,
Yeah.
I play classical stuff, so I'm just kind of all over, man. Like, for me, I go through phases, and I just, sometimes I'm like, I want like brutal metal, and then I want to listen to like, banjos, whatever, or together.
I've seen like there's like a study out there that showed that people who are super into metal, they're also into classical music because of the changes.
Yeah, no, there's definitely, and I think it's the musicality of it, and
yes.
I think that when you relate to music on that level, the difference I would assume maybe comes from is it's less fair weather in the sense that if you're listening to a pop song, it hits you in the immediate, and it's catchy, and it's the beat, it's all these things are gonna hit you right there. And there's probably a lot of subtext, like musically, maybe not lyrically, but musically, that's it might be really cool, like brought from a production level. But it's really that's not what it's about so much, I think. But when you're in the like, let's say metal or classical or jazz, like these more intricate styles of music, I think you're just relating to it. Like you have to, like a lot of stuff that I like, or like I think maybe some good Rogering stuff and RuneScar and these type bands. If you're not that kind of fan. And a lot of my favorite stuff is stuff that I've listened to the first time and go, that's cool, yeah. And then you listen to it again, and then you listen to it again, and you're like, fuck, this is amazing. Yeah. Like Mr. Bungle, I think, is a great example. I don't know if you guys have heard Mr. Bungle. It's pretty out there.
Great band.
Yeah,
California. Great album.
One of my favorite albums. Retro Vertigo is one of my all-time favorite songs. Anyway, so the first time I heard them was years ago, and I was a Faith No More fan, a band that my brother ended up joining from Boston called Hostile Groove, kind of thrash metal, but kind of the hip hop elements. I don't know, the singer of that band had, we were talking, and he's like, we're talking about Faith No More, Mike Patton. He's like, oh man, you need to hear Mr. Bungle. And I was like, oh, I've heard of those guys, da da da. And then he gave me a cassette, and I was just like,
fuck yeah.
What the fuck is this? I mean, dude, it was like I put it on and like it was just like horns. And the first song I heard was "Girls of Porn," and they were talking about masturbating and all this stuff. And I'm just going,
it's unbelievable instrumentation.
It's just phenomenal.
Greatly. It's just a great composition, like the entire album.
Absolutely
for
brilliant.
Talking about California.
Yeah, to me, any other albums, I think in different ways. Like they're all different, and John Zorn produced that first one.
Yes.
And they're like. It's like to me it's kind of like fusion in its truest sense. I mean, it is just like metal meets jazz meets, they are fucking everywhere, and it's phenomenal. But the average listener's not going to put that on and be like, I'm really digging this. Like the average person is going to be like, Jesus Christ, turn this fucking noise off. Like this is like insane. It took me like many times listening to, because it's not verse chorus, it's like riff A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then finally you get back to something you heard, you know.
It helps
But-
if you have some friends that are into it too.
Yeah,
It
well, once,
really
but it's that's a
helps.
cult thing though. But once, and that's what I love about like Typo Negative being another example. Those kind of bands, or Clutch is a band like this, or Faith No More, like certain bands. I think because everybody loves Metallica now. Nothing against Metallica. Like some people hate on them, some people. I mean, whatever. They're huge. They're fucking Zeppelin. You know, it's at that point it's pop culture. You know, it's just it's in all of our consciousness. But there's a lot of these bands that are, more sort of cult based, even though they may have millions of followers. And I think it's like once you really dive in and you get it, then it's like then when you meet other people that get those same bands, we're all like that with our favorite bands, and you're just like oh yeah, and like speaking of metal, I'll come back to the it's like the Slayer. So that's the metal, the Slayer.
Is it Slayer?
Yeah, and like
Slayer, yeah.
I feel like Slayer. The what's the word I'm looking for? Parody, not parody, but Slayer fan would be like, I'm not even stoned. So like, but like, yeah, but the whole thing. It's like I feel like that guy, that Slayer fan is just like,
Oh, like the
he wants you to like
kind of
Slayers.
thing,
He wants you to really like Slayer with him, but he almost doesn't because he
Right,
wants
yeah,
to
yeah.
fight you if
Yeah,
you
yeah,
don't.
yeah.
It's like you like Slayer, bro, and you're just like, yeah. I mean, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah.
It's
Yeah,
gotta-
all
Whatever
to,
the
like,
right
Seasons
answer
of the
is.
Abyss, like to a slow song,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
Seasons of the
you
Abyss, I
get
love
really pissed.
Yeah, it was awesome to actually. Didn't you guys go to that show? Like that's I finally saw him. I'd never seen Slayer. It was
I
great.
missed it. I
I've
missed
seen
that
Slayer
one,
a
yeah.
few times.
Yeah, it was-
The last
Yeah,
one.
they never disappoint.
Yeah, I mean,
I
there was fire and satanic stuff, and it ruled.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when you're writing, when you're writing metal songs, I guess it gets to the idea of like, so are you writing them for those people that are like, you want them to get it on the 8th time, or do you want to like hit it on the first one? Do you even think about that?
I really don't.
Yeah.
I really don't. And I actually, I hate to say proud of that, but kind of in the sense that like I don't really. I think it's like an experience in songwriting. Like I don't feel like I sit down and go like, I have to write this kind of song or I have to write that kind of song. It's like a mood. Like it depends. Like sometimes I want to write chaotic, fucked up shit because that's how I'm feeling. And then I'm like, someone's going to relate to that. Someone's going to like that progginess or that craziness. And like, sometimes that's what I want to express. And other times it's just like, I think, pop and those formats and songs exist for a reason and there's nothing wrong with it. And so sometimes, I write a song and it goes verse, chorus, and it's got a hook and that's what pops in my head and I write a song around it and that's cool too. And then you just kind of look at what you have and you go, okay, I mean, this song is more accessible. This is probably a good song to put here, or which, obviously death metal, it would not be like a choice single, but it's a good Rogering we're talking about,
Yeah.
it's like, so, I mean, it's like, I look at certain songs like this is more hooky or this is more whatever, but I don't really, I think the bigger thing for me now is after songs are written is, and what I've learned or am learning is where to put them. Like, okay, this is a good Rogering song. This feels right. And I've got a lot of songs that have been sitting around that I'm just like, I'm glad I didn't release. I'm glad I didn't put them out under that name because it doesn't really make sense. I mean, there's a few things out there that are already kind of off, the metal. Like I've got a classical piano piece on the Lifeblood album and stuff like that. But for the most part, I think most of it makes sense, And so I think it's really just more of like, I mean, I've got some songs that are straight up pop, and I'm like, cool, I'll just like do this as a single one day, as me or something, or something else that's just like these songs are totally their own weird thing. Maybe I'll put this under something else, So I think it's like categorization is more what I'm interested in now than like sort of trying to write. Because I just like from a writing standpoint, I just want it to come out whatever's natural, and to me, it's like I don't know. I like to be organic, like a lot of guitar solos and stuff too. It comes out, and it's like if that comes out, and it happens in the moment, and then I kind of polish it up. Great. If I don't want to have to sit there and overthink it, you know what I mean? And like, so yeah.
I feel like sometimes if you overthink it, like the like emotion side of it
Yeah.
will like go away, you know,
Yeah,
'cause you're
exactly.
just trying to make it perfect or whatever, you know.
Well, a good example, I mean, I've had like certain riffs where I'm just like, man, this is a great riff, you know. And a good test to me is like, well, I'll write stuff, and nowadays, you know, like a zillion things on my iPhone and all this like little humming things and coming up with riffs, and like you go back and listen to a bunch of it, and you're like, what the fuck is this? Like, what in the hell?
Yeah.
But then some stuff you're like, oh yeah, that was fucking cool, you know. And so I think it's like, yeah, it's like the things that stick and the things that you keep coming back and playing again. Or if I write a song and I, you know, lay the whole thing down and come up with some basic drums or do whatever, you know, and put it together, and like the next morning I like wake up and I listen to it and I'm going like, oh man, yeah, like that's a song that I'm going to keep, like, you know.
Yeah.
And then other times you're kind of like, you got some stuff where you're like, you might even fight for it, but it's also good when you have a few other people you work with and know you can trust. Like I used to do a lot of writing with my brother. He was in the band for a long time. Or producers and people that, you know, you work with because you kind of have a trust, you know, you're not bullshitting each other, and someone like, right, you can just be like, that sucks. You know what I mean? And like, you know, and it's so, I think it's like just gauging that. And I feel really confident now in, you know, my material that like, I don't know. It's just like, cool, I like this song. I'm just going to go with it. Or, yeah, this needs work. Maybe I'll put it on the shelf and maybe it'll come around and maybe it won't. But not fighting for something just for the sake. And I think that's like, it takes a long time, or at least it did for me to get there, to like drop the ego. And like, I hate like having a bunch of guys in a room looking at their feet and everyone's trying to fucking insert their riff. You know, it's just like, it takes a long time to get there though, to really like care about the song. And I can think back to producing some stuff. I say producing, I mean like, you know, like interning or something, and like recording like terrible, you know, like recording somebody's song for practice essentially. You know, let's say, you know, a Jack Johnson type song, and then I'm like putting a fucking Zakk Wylde solo over it, which is completely inappropriate. You know, been there, done that, but it's like that was still that part of me that was like, I have to play guitar and play all the cool licks I've learned, you know, instead of being like, oh, well, this just needs like a little clean tone, like octave thing or something. You know what I mean? Like, so just, I think it's a long process of just going through it and learning.
When you're all grown up, you're all grown up.
Get all grown
You're
up
all
now.
grown
Well,
up.
it's funny you say that, because I do think kind of at the end of the day, it does come back to it's 3 fucking chords and it works. You know, like it works for a fucking reason. And like and this is what I love about teaching music. Actually, it's like to me, like the coolest thing about teaching music is I'm not, you know, I've gotten kind of snobby about it, you could say, but it's just not my what I really like. I don't really like showing people like their favorite songs. I mean, I'll do that, and that's okay. I don't know how people can have patience with little kids. I've done it for years, and I can't fucking do it anymore, man. Like, but what I do like is sort of like when you're with someone and over time you sort of show them the actual language of music. And like, to me, it's like really cool to be like, look, here's this Mozart piano concerto or whatever, and here's a Tom Petty song, and here's a fucking Metallica song, and here's a Willie Nelson song, and they're the same 3 fucking chords. You know what I mean? Like, that's awesome. Like, when you get music on that level, I think it changes, it can kind of change the way you approach it. And so for me, there's almost like 2 paths. It's like, right now I'm in this like chord-based music theory world that I can, or, you know, choose or choose not to use. But if I'm writing a song, like, I'm aware of that and I can kind of work in those parameters and then bend whatever I want. And then there's the other place that I love too, that's just like complete and total fucking chaos, you know. So it's like balancing those 2 things, like, and to me that's really fun. It's just fun to just do whatever the fuck you want with it, you know. But put it in like as I've learned over the years, like, to kind of, good rogering is, you know, broad, but we're going to keep it kind of here. And then if I'm going to go something, you know, if I'm going to go, this is why I've started developing, you know, schizophrenia or multiple personality disorder or whatever. It's like, so now that I can actually go be someone else and like do a blues project, you know. So like, I don't know if y'all know about Willie Blue Balls Johnson, my uncle.
Ooh.
Yeah.
No.
I want to know. Yeah, we got to know about this guy.
Do tell.
All right, Willie Blue Balls Johnson has a video.
He
Y'all should
sexted
check
me
it
once.
out. Yeah. He just released a single. I can't remember if it was this year or last year, called Mississippi Whiskers. But
Ooh.
Okay.
that's a bluesy thing you should check out.
Yeah, hell yeah.
He's
Very
really
excited.
poor and he wants money too. So
Yeah.
it's like supposed to
You got to be very careful when typing that in the search engine.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah,
that's his name though, Uncle.
Willie
Uncle's in the name, right? Did you say
Willie
uncle?
Willie Blue Balls.
Willie Blue Balls. I thought you said like
Johnson.
uncle. I thought you said
We
my
could
uncle
put
Willie.
uncle.
I was like, wait.
That'll be another
My Uncle
genre
Willie. That
video.
sounds.
Yeah.
That all just all sounds sexual.
William
Somehow
Blue
everything's
Balls.
sexual with me.
Joe,
Good Rogering, Uncle Willie.
That's actually. We'll get back to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what I'm wondering, because when you're describing these projects and you say a good Rogering, a good Rogering, is that your band? Like when you have people in it, is it like your vision, or how collaborative is it?
Yeah, I
when
mean,
you're
it's at this point, it's like it's my thing, and there's been different, which is kind of, in the evolution of it all, I guess when I look at it at this moment, I'm like, it's kind of cool because there's been different people involved in each album, and a core writing, at the most of the material was written by myself and my brother, aka Chef, for anyone who knows the older version of A Good Rogering.
Chef.
But I mean, back in the 2009, 10, 11 stretch or whatever, when we were first playing shows, like you had this 6'4" guy on stage in a huge chef's hat and combat boots and an apron, and people were like, "What in the fuck?" And I was dressed as a preacher doing sermons. We were playing fucking Metallica and then Coltrane. It was pretty whatever.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I mean, it was but and now it's just, I don't know, it's what it is now is what I always wanted it to be. It's it's 4-piece. The last show when we played at Skunk Fest was like my dream. It finally like happened in terms of, we had another guitar player here in town, John Simpson, who had done some guest solos, and we used to come play bigger shows with us in the past for like a second guitar player, because he was just a trio for a long time. Me, Chef, and we had a few different drummers over the years. But this last show, we had the core, myself, Rick Lambert on guitar, Sammy Alvarado on bass, and Ram Gov on drums. And then John Simpson came in and set in on guitar for a song. We had a keyboard player for a couple of songs. So it was awesome. I was able to get the full sound that I wanted for our, because there's the death metal and there's those super metal songs, but then there's also songs that are back to Typo Negative that are, and to me, when I listen to Typo Negative, I see a band that is highly, highly influenced, especially if you've seen them live and they know all the cover. And they always covered stuff on their albums, from the Beatles to Neil Young to Seals and Crofts, was it? And it was just like, but they completely took all these classic rock, Beatles, Pink Floyd type influences and rearranged them in their own way that was so unique and interesting and cool. I wouldn't call it metal, but hard rock, goth, whatever the hell format you want to call it, punk rock. There was all kinds of elements in their music, and so for us, I think we do a lot of the same. We have that like brutal side, but then we have that kind of Pink Floyd side even, and so to be able to get a full band on stage with the keys and the whole fucking thing was like, yes, this is the sound I always wanted to do live that you can't do with 3 people. So we were kind of limited, and I mean, I think it's impressive that we even attempted, Master of Puppets as a trio back in the day. But
trio, yeah.
There's like a video of that somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think it's definitely, the evolution has been good, and I think every album, the different people that have been a part of it, they all have their own character and flavor because of it, and the contributions from each of those guys in the songwriting, or recording process has been great, and now where things are, I'm just hoping this will be our best release today,
But are you like a control freak about it when you're doing it, or are you like?
You have to ask other people about
really?
that. I mean, I don't.
That sounds like a yes. if you
I don't
say
know
that.
how much people like me or hate me. I don't
yeah.
know.
So I've got
yeah.
a question, kind of about how you mentioned like you don't consider yourself like a metal band. It's like more like a heavy rock. Like
Yeah.
I guess I'm curious, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners are curious. Like, where's that line for you? Like, what would make a band metal? Because I just don't understand it.
I love it all. Like, so
Yeah.
I mean, like, but I think for me, when I put together Skunk Fest, like a big thing for me, what I didn't want, and there's lots of great metal bands in town that I love, but I did not want to have 10 bands of like just
Right.
blowing everyone's head off all day, because I know like a lot of people like dig that, and like there's the whole Texas Metal Coalition and Texas Metal this and that, and great, love them all. But I just think there's a lot of different music and there's a lot of different bands that I like that are in other genres too that I want to showcase. And so my whole thing with putting that bill together is I wanted to start it kind of rock and roll and get heavier and heavy. And then A Good Rogering was I'd say Runescarred was the heaviest band. And Runescarred is metal, but they've got that throwback old school kind of, stuff. And there's melodies, they're singing along with the, and all that. There's all the hero guitar solo stuff. So it's like classic metal, but also very progressive. And I think, and then Slaterica, that's
a great name.
Yeah, I mean, Slaterica, was the last band, which I thought was great because, everyone... I feel like you put them first and everyone's going to leave. You're cool, we've seen all the metal songs we love. Fuck this band we've never heard of.
What, Slayer, Pantera,
and Metallica, yeah. So they closed out, and so the last three bands of the night, were pretty metal, by an average, person standards, but but accessible metal, And honestly, that was as heavy as it got, And so for me, I think that it just depends because in 1980, if you ask me that question, or anyone, it's like Ozzy Osbourne was metal. I think it's laughable. I don't think most people now would call Ozzy Osbourne metal.
It's like new wave metal.
It's like, rock, hard rock.
It's like
or Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
Hard. I'd call that hard rock.
Who say Led Zeppelin were
He
metal.
was
Right,
he was
exactly. I
doing
think
very
it
metal
changes.
things,
Very metal things. Yes.
but not just a hard rock band.
Well,
Yeah.
Sabbath was
So
metal.
metal in the day, but now you
early Ozzy.
Yeah,
no,
so
At
I
the
think
time,
that
it was the most metal thing.
and now the things that were called metal are called classic rock. So I think the definition changes. So in my mind nowadays, when I think metal, it's based on usually detuned guitars. It's usually and usually vocals that are grunty and that kind of stuff, and which is cool. And I like that. That's kind of one thing I like about Faith No More, on certain Patton projects and stuff, is that there's doses of that, but there's also great vocal melodies and really simplistic, hooky songwriting. So it's a really nice mesh of getting dick punched and then, getting a nice, massage afterwards or what, what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's I like the ups and downs. I like the peaks and valleys. I don't just like a
People
brutal
pay for
assault.
that. Yeah.
I
think, yeah.
mean, what do you mean? I thought we all did.
Yeah,
huh?
the dick punch and the massage after. Yeah.
That's so good.
That's so funny. I guess this is my idea too. It's metal people have this kind of conversation about what is metal, and it's well, is this metal or which song, which album in this era? And it's there's so much passion behind this kind of music, I think, and people really feel it and it moves them. Especially, I think metal music, especially live, is it's a different.
It's
beast,
definitely a different energy live.
I think when people who wouldn't be into metal, when they hear the songs recorded, I think it's different. They're I'm not into that. But when they see people actually perform the music and execute it and see it on stage, I think they get more into it.
Yeah.
Is that been your experience?
I have two things to say about it. I'm really glad you said that. So, for me, yes, because one of the greatest compliments I'll get when we play, and we've gotten this compliment a lot over the years, is people saying, man, I'm not really even a fan of metal. I don't really listen to that kind of music, but you guys were awesome. I really enjoyed the show. Because when you're there seeing it happen and the energy coming from the stage and the performance and hearing the songs and seeing them being performed, it's it's very different than just listening to it. Because again, coming back to a listener that hears what's on pop radio, or maybe they listen to country or whatever, they're going to hear that just like the first time I heard Guns N' Roses, and my response from a conditioned young boy that Ozzy was Satan and Iron Maiden worshiped the devil and all this ridiculous bullshit was which is now really, this is laughable. This is just rock and roll, But
Tipper Gore days.
Yeah, Tipper Gore days, right. And so it's but to those untrained ears, so to speak, you hear it and it sounds like noise. You're ugh, turn that noise off. But if you see it live, you're wow, okay, I see these guys doing this. This is impressive. There's energy and people are into it, and this is fun and it's exciting. There's something to be said about a concert. You cannot replicate that, in a room. But also, for me, a really similar thing was for someone maybe experiencing, that metal feeling or whatever for the first time would be when I saw Zappa play Zappa. I know there's major Zappa heads out there. I'm almost ashamed to be because I was okay, I bought a few Zappa albums. I listened to some stuff. I have the, Shut Up and Play Your Guitar, some more stuff. And I'm okay, cool.
And that's
I
his
know
son
he's a
playing
genius.
That's his son playing his
Yes,
dad's
yes,
tunes, right?
And I know
Even
okay,
some
I know he's a
Dweezil
genius
records.
kinda-
Even some Dweezil records are very, very good.
Dude, I love Dweezil.
yeah,
Like
very on
Dweezil
par.
Zappa, I cannot say enough good things about him. He seems, when I met him, he was like unbelievably nice and humble. He was, I mean, every time I've seen an interview with, he just seems like a really fucking good guy and really passionate about carrying on his father's legacy in music. And I think that's super admirable. And I also think he's a phenomenal guitar player. Yeah. But anyway, when I saw Zappa play Zappa, I was just floored. I was just like fucking floored. And even the girl I was dating at the time was like not into that kind of stuff at all. And she was like, wow, this is amazing. Because it's just like, Jesus Christ, the caliber of the musicians is so mind-boggling. It's not even like you hear it on a record, kind of like I was saying with Mr. Bungle, and you're the first time, you're just like, oh my God, I can't absorb this. It's just too much.
Yeah.
Like, but when you see that live, it's almost like you should be introduced to that kind of music live first, because you see it and you're just like, wow. I mean, it's just, like insane amount of work and proficiency went into that. It's the same way the first time I saw an opera, or the first time I saw like when I saw the Book of Mormon. I had never seen a musical, and I saw that, which I think is absolutely fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
But I was just like, not only was like pissing myself laughing and just like thoroughly enjoying like everything I enjoy about Trey Parker and all the humor, but just the like being in awe of like, my God, these guys are like running around, singing, acting. I mean, all the choreography and the memorization. It's just like, that is intense. I mean, I'm sorry, like, no. And here's the thing, like, there's nothing against someone that gets up and plays a great song with 3 chords on a guitar, because that can be unbelievably moving and it's great. I mean, that's awesome too. But there's, that definitely doesn't take the same amount of practice and, I mean, we're talking about these other things that's like months and months and months and months of like strict preparation, or a symphony or whatever. So I think in that style of music, and maybe this comes back to what you're talking about with metal, I think, a band like Megadeth, I think would be a great example with the songwriting and the Guitar Hero stuff. Is like, it's just, you have such an appreciation of like the work that went into to the skill behind that, like the whole misnomer of like, so talented. Well, I mean, maybe. I think it's more that some people don't have really much talent, but I think most people have probably the relative same amount of talent, and some people are genius level, but I think most of us are right here. But some people put 10,000 hours of work into something, and some people put 50.
Like somebody like Dimebag Darrell. You look at somebody of that caliber of guitar playing, or just like somebody that can execute. Yeah. As well as he did when he was here. He's a crusher.
But there's also something else too. Like the thing about Dimebag that makes him so special. And there's almost like there's like two sides. There's the technical like
Dimebag
Michelangelo
soul, right?
side, but Dime has soul for days.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. And him and Vinny, I mean, their songwriting skills are just off the charts, man. So that's just like a perfect storm. Like just having that soul and also having like all the chops. Like it's just, that's why Dimebag is just eternally, eternalized. Like whether you're a metal fan or not, like nobody could that's the thing. It's like, and same with me. Like I may like despise contrived, Nashville pop country. Like it may not be my thing. But if I hear something and I hear an awesome guitar solo, I'm going to acknowledge like that's a great guitar solo. Right. Doesn't mean the musicians playing on the record aren't good. They're fucking amazing. And it doesn't even mean the melodies aren't good, but they're definitely they're existing for a reason. It's for sales. It's commercial, it's contrived, and it's put together to, sell to a certain demographic. Cool, we live in a capitalistic society, knock yourself out. But it's not a ill reflection on the musicianship. So I think it's the same way if you were listening to, Dimebag Darrell or Marty Friedman on a Megadeth record or something. Even if you're like, I hate metal, it's like how you can't possibly deny like that is fucking awesome, like musicianship.
I mean,
it's live. Yeah.
I saw. I watched the Iron Maiden documentary.
Yeah.
Where he's flying around that one.
Yeah, and like that was one of the coolest. Like, I'll say I was never like a huge metal person. I guess I listened to like new metal, like Coheed and Cambria, Tool and stuff like that. If you want to call that stuff metal, but like when I watched that. and watching like the fans and the people who react to it,
So
and they go
hardcore.
crazy, and
You
they're
are
so
right
like
about
you're
that.
saying, like passionate and hardcore, and they're into every piece and stuff like that, and they appreciate the talent and whatnot that's up there and stuff. It was really cool to watch that documentary, and I got a much better appreciation for like Iron Maiden and metal
yeah,
and
dude,
things like that. Like it was really
I gotta
cool.
say, like I'd be crucified for some of the things I don't listen to as by the metal community. I always think it's funny when people are like, "Whoa, you play blues and stuff," like, or you play piano, because like now I think it's a little more out there, and people are like, "Oh, like cool, like you play a lot of different stuff," and that's like I said, a really cool compliment to me. But like, yeah, it's like I honestly never really listened to Maiden. There's certain bands I love Dio. I don't really have like a Dio album, so I just love Dio. But like Maiden, like there's a lot of Maiden stuff I think is just like. It's so funny that back in, once upon a time when I was a little kid, it was like, oh, Maiden, Satanics. And I'm like, are you kidding?
They
Like,
did
it's
have a
just
song called
laughable.
Number of the Beast.
Yeah, but
It
it's
went
like laughable
666.
to me. It's funny. Like, it's goofy.
There's also a dude screaming.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, it's like
but it's so.
it's like Pick a Destiny when he
it's
closes
like-
the door
yeah.
and Dio comes to life on the album.
But
His
it's like
dad
Dio
doesn't want him to
too.
listen
It's
to it.
so
Like,
cheesy.
Yeah,
it's
it is
great.
cheesy.
It's so cheesy. It's great. And like, see, like, and everyone has their own. Like, I love Megadeth. Some people hate Megadeth and love Maiden. I don't hate Maiden, but I don't really listen to a lot of Iron Maiden. I love the artwork. I respect the talent, of course. And the fact that Bruce Dickinson, I don't
Dickinson,
even know his fucking
yeah.
name, but like drives a plane around, flies a plane. I mean, it's fucking amazing. It's awesome. But I will say, like, I saw them live, and I was like, fuck. I mean, there's so many bands you see live, and you're just like, wow, I really get this. Like, they were so good, and I was just like. It's really cool. I'm actually playing one of their songs now on RuneScar, and I love it. It's
Which one?
Super fun. Moonchild. I love that
yeah.
song. Super cool. Yeah, Bruce Dickinson's like king of the fucking vibrato, man. I've had many like delightful, delirious moments, like driving home in the middle of the night after the late gig, and like Flight of Icarus comes on or something, and we're just like laughing our asses off. Like I love it. It's great, but it's so like cheesy. It's like
It is. It's like
just
metal
cheesy.
for people who love.
I hope I get
Lord of
pulled
the
over
Rings.
right now.
But but for me, it's like we all had those different influences that just really like for me, Iron Maiden just wasn't one of them. Like that I got exposed to, or really, it was Guns N' Roses, it was Metallica, it was Ozzy. Like those were like like big ones for me. So,
do you guys want to play a game?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you want to play a game name?
play a game?
Yes.
Yeah.
So what is this game called?
Well, it's a game name, but I'm bringing back an old classic. It's called.
TM.
We're gonna play lead singer or porn star.
oh, I love this already.
Yes.
So I'm gonna give
Bringing
you.
it back.
I'm gonna give you a name.
I know a lot about porn stars. You guys are gonna lose.
Well, I'm not. I'm gonna tell you. I didn't pick.
much about lead singers.
I didn't
No,
pick.
I don't know who the fuck. It must be a. Never heard of him. Lead singer.
This ain't the Pornhub Top 100 I'm talking about here. This is gonna be
Oh, deep
deep
tracks.
cuts. Yeah.
Deep nuts.
Yeah, deep.
Deep nuts. That's good.
So I'm gonna give you the name of somebody, and you gotta tell me: are they a porn star or a lead singer of a band?
Are we going around?
Yeah, we'll do the sir. Yeah.
Circling the round.
Wait, did we do this? I think the first time we did this was with the
Perfect
Finite guys.
Was it?
wasn't
Yeah.
That's
I don't
funny.
even remember.
Something tells me they
like
know a lot
2
about
years
porn.
ago.
They just look like porny guys to me.
Yeah.
Those fucking beards.
Yeah.
You heard it here first, y'all. Again.
Porny guys.
Cool. Well, Brett,
Yes.
your girlfriend's in the background, so I hope you don't get this right.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go with Tasha Rain. I can tell you it's spelled Reign, if that helps. Rain.
Ooh, that makes it a little trickier.
It
The
does.
Yeah. I was gonna say porn star, but when you spelled it, I'm gonna say lead singer.
Tasha Rain performed her first anal scene in 2012 with Peter North. Yeah.
Oh, old blockhead.
That's old school, though.
Yeah.
Old garden hose.
All right, Tracy.
I was thinking singer too.
Yeah. All right,
Almost
Tracy.
a good trick
All right,
question with
I'm
that
ready
We're
to
gonna
hear
have
it.
to put an NSFW on the front of this podcast, like
Yeah.
promotion.
It's explicit.
I mean, it is metal.
Yeah, what did you expect?
It's for adults. It's not
Metal
even.
with
It's not even for
SFW.
adults. This isn't for anybody. Yeah. All right, Tracy.
Children listen to podcasts. Is that a thing?
Let's do
They don't listen to this one.
They're certainly not chill.
Jimmy Urine. Tracy. Jimmy Urine.
Jimmy Iron?
Lead singer or porn star?
Jimmy?
Jimmy Urine.
There's a James Urine, I know for sure.
Yeah.
Jimmy
50-50.
Urine. Jimmy Iman. Jimmy Urine.
I see what you're doing.
Yeah, I see.
You see what I'm doing
Yeah,
there?
mix up the word a little
Yeah.
Do I have to
Getting
go
it
around the
punny.
horn?
Da-na-na-na-na.
Oh no, I'm gonna go ahead and say that's a straight up porn star. It has
That
to be.
is the lead singer of Mindless Self-Indulgence.
Wow.
And that's probably
See-
a band that exists.
See what people forget? What people forget is that this game is real hard. Like if you played it's not. We're 0 for 2.
Pun-
0 for 2.
pun
Yeah.
intended.
Yeah.
Mindless Self-Indulgence is a band. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a
Late
loser.
90s,
Maybe
2000s,
yeah.
punk electro kind of stuff. Yeah. All right, Joe. Let's go with
It looks like a bouquet.
yeah.
It looks like a bouquet of chords
Yeah.
for the visitors.
There's a
who aren't here.
4-leaf Brover over there.
Let's go with Lucy Wilde.
Ooh.
Lucy Wilde.
I'm gonna go with.
For a guy or a girl?
Right?
I'm gonna go with porn star on that one.
Porn star. Lucy Wilde was interviewed by boobsrealm.com
Yeah.
where she confirmed her bra size is now 34L.
I don't even know what that means.
La 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 la
It's been confirmed.
Yeah, ridiculous.
I
yeah.
guessed on that one, Mom.
So singer.
Yeah. All right, Skunk. Let's do Steve Cruz. Okay, to be a more generic. This is a total coin toss.
Steve Cruz.
It's total coin purse.
He's either a gay porn star or a yacht rock singer. I don't know.
Ooh.
It's a tough call.
Steve Cruz.
I'm going porn star with that one.
He actually is a gay porn star.
Wow.
He won 2010's Gay Vienna Award for Best Supporting Actor in Raging Stallions Focus Refocus.
Ooh.
call on that one.
Is
I
that
mean,
like the golden boot?
I gotta say, yeah.
Is that like
good call.
MVP?
That was
MV.
That's hilarious.
it just sounded
Yeah.
Brian, let's all try Dillian Harper.
I don't. I'm just gonna guess. That's the lead singer.
Dillian
I
Harper.
think it's a porn star.
Wait, Joe, are you saying no?
Not
Do you
a
know
lead-
who that
not
is?
a lead singer. I'll just say that.
Do you know that, Joe? Did you know
Joe's-
that?
Joe's seen some
did you know
films.
that Dillian Harper was a Spank Bank Award nominee for America's Porn Sweetheart, and also nominated for Most Adorable Slut in 2016?
Classy girl.
Most adorable slut.
That I did not
She
know
is
about her.
adorable.
Classy broad.
That I did not know about her.
Is she named after Dandelion?
See, you know
Sure,
that? We don't know.
Dandelion? Anyone?
Unconfirmed.
I see what you did. Yeah.
It's one of her films.
Yeah.
All right, Brett. Let's try Blackie Lawless.
Lead singer.
The lead singer of Wasp. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
He's a white dude in a Wasp back in the day.
Fuck yeah.
Blackie Lawless.
You got it.
All right.
One more.
Tracy. Jizzy Pearl.
I'm stumped on this one. This is something that I've.
It's never
I-
come across in your reading.
Well, I mean, it's like it's
You really did go deep nuts
it's
there
like-
because I've not heard of these.
who is Izzy Stradlin? You know, is he like who is he Stradlin?
No, that's a good point. Izzy
You know?
Stradlin, if you did not know,
Is he though?
You would
Is
be
he
like,
really
is that a-
Stradlin? Who is he Stradlin? No, so I'm gonna go say Jizzy Pearl is gonna be on the money, metal all the way.
Jizzy Pearl sung for Ellie Guns and Rat.
Wow.
Fuck yeah.
Look at me a letdown to the metal community
Yeah.
not knowing that.
Izzy is Stradlin.
Yeah.
I think all of our listeners are learning something here today. You know, don't judge a name.
What I like about this show is that people learn things that matter.
Yeah.
It's important.
Exactly.
It's like
It's for the kids. We
yeah.
do it for the kids.
now I know Jizzy Pearl, but
Yep.
I don't know presidents between like 5 and 40, except for Abraham
You got
Lincoln.
NPR?
I think. Somewhere in there.
You got NPR, but
Forgot
you
all
got the
that.
Say Loud
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah.
Joseph.
All right.
Tracy Thorn.
I'm gonna say porn star.
Tracy Thorn is a singer of Everything But the Girl.
Oh, all right.
The band that says, "And I'll miss you like the desert miss the rain."
Okay.
It's like it's one of those dance songs. And I'll miss you.
Yes.
Like the deserts miss the. Yeah. Yep, exactly.
Everybody thinks it's Toto, but it's not.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I remember that one.
All
I
right,
think I
Skunk.
know that one.
You would if you heard it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brad Armstrong.
Well, I know this actually.
You do?
Yeah.
What?
He used to be married to Jenna Jameson.
Oh my God!
So, famous porn director.
You were
yeah.
kidding? Yes, he is the king of porn and the Spielberg of skin directors. Brad Armstrong. Oh my God!
He's the stiffest. He's the stiffest.
The Spielberg of skin directors. Goodness gracious.
God.
Jurassic Pork.
The hardest
Gonna be a
director in
Fine film.
yeah.
Jurassic Pork?
Field.
I don't know. It could be
Oh,
right.
that should be,
Yeah.
Should be.
Jurassic Pork.
Yeah. Let's see one more. Brian. Let's go with Ryan Ryans.
Wow. Well, not much leeway there. Yeah. Not much clues or anything.
Phone a friend.
I'm going to say it's a porn star.
Ryan Ryans was the AVN Awards nominee in 2015 for All Girl Performer of the Year.
Now that threw me
Also
off. That
for
one.
also for best girl sex scene.
Oh, see, I was gonna say gay, but I was kind of right.
Yeah. Let's I'll just
What's
do a
that
couple.
film
I'll do
called
a couple
again?
round. Yeah, I don't know. It'll be out. Just look up Ryan.
Was it directed
Ryans.
by Brad Armstrong? Because I only watch
If
the
it is,
finest in porn.
Yeah. If you need to watch, if you want,
Spielberg.
Only the Spielberg. Yeah.
yeah. If you need the ET of porn, yeah.
The extra tested.
Elliot.
Oh, jeez.
Speaking of that, I'm sure there's an ET porn parody. There's so many porn
Vlad
parodies.
Johnson.
I was like,
Raiders of the Lost
I
Cause.
saw like some kind of like, oh man, there's nothing funnier than like porn box covers for like parodies and shit. Or
Yeah, you don't get those anymore.
like I've
'cause it's
seen
all
like
online.
there was something for like Lord of the Rings and like someone was
Lord of the
like
Cock Rings.
dressed like Gollum or some shit.
I had a Twilight porn series that I came up with. It was called Twatlight. The second one was New Poon, and the third one was Shaving Dawn.
That's
Of course,
good.
Saving Dawn.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
So that was,
Well, people are gonna steal that from
so
you
it's
right
out there.
now.
Take
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I mean, whatever. I'm not gonna do anything with it. So, please.
I
That
beg to
was
differ.
great. That's the kind of podcast I'm used to. I don't know what all this talking about music business
Yeah, yeah.
was.
Just trying to make it fit.
Hey,
Yeah.
Classic.
So a good Rogering, Skunk Manhattan. Thank you for joining us
thank
on the
you
podcast.
for having me. Definitely. I should plug October 27th again.
What's
I
going on?
guess.
Yeah.
Let's do like a Halloween thing. That's all I got right now. But a Dirty Dog. I haven't played Dirty Dog in
Okay.
a while. Yeah, the old classic Dirty Dog.
Yeah.
Down 6.
Good old Dirty Six.
Dirty 6. Yeah, man. Yeah, and then I encourage everyone to go watch our new video for This Is Death
That's
Metal.
right. This just came out. Yeah, cool animation. Like
Thank you.
great song.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, we had an all-star team work on that. I'm real thrilled with everyone that was a part of that process, from the recording studio we did at Mesa Recording Studios here in town, and then I had a guy out of New York, Mark Urselli, mix it, Miller Applebaum mastered it, and then Eric Allen Livingston did the animation for the video. Yeah, man, so we're digging it. I think people are digging it, and everyone should go watch it over and over and over and share
Like
it.
just leave it on repeat at night when
Masturbate
you're
to
sleeping.
it. Yeah, leave it on. Oh, and also like do this with Spotify. Everybody needs to go to a Good Rogering Spotify and just play it at night when you fall asleep,
Yeah, there you go.
and then play it again every night over and over. And if you do that for like a year, we'll get paid like $1.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
It's an extra. It's $1 you didn't have
It's
before.
$1 I
Yeah.
didn't have that. And I mean, it only costs like a couple bucks to make an album, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's halfway there.
Halfway.
Excellent.
Hitting the spot.
All right, that's Tracy, who will never be on a podcast again.
Hey, let me ask: is this a normal round table or what's?
Yeah.
Okay,
Pretty
okay.
much. Yeah.
Yeah. Just like this.
But yeah, Fair City Fire, the Grizzly Bear, September 12th.
Yeah. Check our Facebook or our website or anything like that for any maybe new shows or up and coming shows that we don't know about right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Secrets. Tracy, do you have any plugs?
Nope.
Fantastic. That's a great
listen to that girl, Dre.
podcast.
Let me
partner.
plug more. I'm going to plug more.
All right. Yeah, for sure, man.
goodrogering.com. All merch, half price.
Ooh.
And then Gunzenhausen. Everybody go check out Gunzenhausen
yeah.
Clan, with a K. Gunzenhausenclan.com for some wacky Monty Python meets Metallica metal.
Hell yeah.
That's the best way I can describe it. Politically incorrect, chauvinistic, sexist, non-PC, terrible horribleness meets Metallica. And then Willie Blue Balls Johnson, which we talked about.
Yeah.
And his single
Who is
Mississippi
that
Whispers.
guy?
Who is
that
that
guy?
guy?
Johnson.
Who's that guy?
Who's that?
Porn
Who's
star.
that guy? That would be a good one. That would be a good one. Yeah, I love it.
One.
That's
Winning.
good. That's
Willie
Winning.
Blue Balls Johnson, a singer? You shitting me?
Cool. Thank you, Skunk. A good Rogering.
There you go.
A good dicking.
Good Rogering.
Bye.
Cheers.